Hello, everyone. This is Mike here with a quick recap from our April 21st, 2026 safety meeting for those who weren't able to attend. If you missed the meeting, please take a few minutes, stay with this video through to the end because there's a code phrase at the end that you'll need to send or call Julie with so you can get a half-hour pay for watching this video. So trust me, you'll want to hear that part. Start off with Greg introduce himself to some of the new drivers and other employees that work here. As you know, they may not see him all the time, so he introduced himself, and he also brought up how we won a pretty significant bid for summer work with County Parks and Rec. This is a 10-year bid, and it should be very helpful to those who want to work in the summer or need to work in the summer. And then he thanked everybody for their hard work. So a couple reminders that we discussed. One, drug testing rules, they haven't changed under DOT. Marijuana is still illegal under CDL regulations, regardless of the state law. So keep that in mind. Another thing I added about that was that if you're referring someone to come work here, please make sure that they're aware of that. Because if they go take a pre-employment drug screen and it's test positive for marijuana, it's going to disqualify them right off the bat. So just make sure that they're aware as well. If you get a ticket out of state, don't ignore it. Don't just pay it. Make sure you go to court or get it resolved in whatever way possible. Because if you get charged with that, points will still be assessed as if it happened here in Maryland. And you don't want to get points on your license and get decertified for that. So also, if you receive any moving violation, regardless of where it occurs, make sure you report it to the office. Both we and the county are required to monitor the process and receive the final outcome of that citation. So first thing, yard safety. Yeah, we're talking about this again because it matters. 5 miles an hour in the yard, no exceptions. Please do not go around or pass buses that are backing into parking spots. That's one of the most dangerous moments in the yard. So trying to save 10 seconds is never worth creating a serious incident. Also from Skip, when you're coming down the main drag, which would be between the buses that are backed up to the woods and the buses facing the woods, next to the MVA skills lanes, make sure you're hanging to the right, which would be closest to the buses that are backed to the woods. This gives you and all the other buses, cars, pedestrians a better view of the vehicles that are traveling in that area when you're approaching towards the fuel pumps and everything. But bottom line with yard safety is slow down and stay alert and make sure you're giving each other room to maneuver. It is field trip season, so our big message with that is stay together if you're running with multiple buses. Stay together as a group. It definitely helps the customer. It helps you with each other in case something happens, and no one should feel like they're left alone out there. So make sure you're traveling as a team and not splitting off and going different routes, trying to get back to the school faster or to the destination faster. Fueling. This is simple, but it's important. Make sure you're fueling your bus at least every other day, if not more, if needed. If you use a spare bus, make sure you fuel it before putting it away and passing it on to the next person. We don't want to hand the next bus to another driver and they have to then go fill it up on top of the fact that they were probably just last minute put into a spare bus. They need to be ready to go. Also, if you get a bus and it's low on fuel, report it immediately so we can track down who it was. And that way we can address it. Also, Kent reminded everyone when you're fueling, make sure you're staying with your bus and staying with the fuel pump and don't overfill the tank. A lot of what's happening is you're topping off the tanks are getting topped off, and then when you go park and it's on an angle, it can spill out of the overflow and it gets all over the parking lot. So that's an easy one to prevent. It's a spring rush. We're in one of the busiest stretches of the year, and likely, we probably say this every spring, but it may have been maybe one of the busier times that we've had in a spring in general. So we're a little short-staffed compared to what we were when we booked all this work. So a little bit of that unforeseen has occurred. So things happen and we get it. But even just being here to cover your sign route, it helps more than you realize. And the big thing, big message here is please be patient with Dee, Crystal, and the team leads. They're working on a puzzle that changes daily, weekly, and down to even sometimes hourly is changing minute to minute. So please be patient with them and understand that we're doing everything that we can, and they are doing everything that they can to one, get these trips fulfilled that we're contracted to do now, and also you know make sure that the kids are getting to and from school and home safely, and hopefully on time. Dee went over accident procedures. So big thing, if you're involved in a collision, don't move the bus. Check for injuries, obviously, and then call the office immediately. We'll guide you through the process from there, and we'll contact transportation. And at that point, we'll likely ask you to call the police because you're there, so you know your exact location and what's going on. You're going to want to start your seating chart as soon as possible. That's usually the most time-consuming piece, so get moving on it early. Before leaving the scene, make sure you get all the exchange information and stuff from the police, and that you've been properly released from the scene. Very important. Accident reports have to be done very quickly. We are required to submit them to the county within 24 hours, which means we need them before that 24-hour period. So if you have an accident in the morning session, we're going to need that accident report before you go back out for the afternoon. If you have an accident in the afternoon, you're going to need to turn it in first thing in the morning before you go out for your morning route. Missing the deadline, that 24-hour deadline, causes fines to the company. So it's very urgent that those get done right away. Shop maintenance notes. It's brake season, so you may find that your bus is pulled from service to get the brakes inspected or changed. So just be aware that that's going on. Also, if the bay doors are open, please don't yell in and distract the mechanics while they're working. They're doing dangerous works. These buses are up on lifts, so just let them focus on that. If you need something, come into the office and we'll facilitate that. While you're out on the road, keep an eye out for low-hanging branches and report hazards using the forms that are next to the water cooler. There's a hazardous condition report. That's where you can report those so we can get those into transportation. Team leads brought up a couple things. Referrals. Make sure that you're getting the referrals completed for kids that you're having trouble with. Big thing is there, it's documentation. The schools might not all react and follow the exact procedures of referrals, but at least you're documenting the actions. If you get to a point where you've documented, and nothing's happening, please get with your team lead and make sure you're saving all copies of the referrals so that they can get transportation involved. We can get transportation involved to hopefully get some resolution. If you're a driver and you have a sub 8 on your bus, please, it's your responsibility to make sure that as a driver that they understand your specific student's needs. Otherwise they're just going to go on autopilot and do what they think they need to do. Make sure they understand and know exactly what needs to happen with that. That way they can do with their job the proper way. Other thing is go by the route sheet. The sub drivers are going out here and finding out that there's been courtesy stops that are being done by the regular drivers. This is a huge liability on you as a driver. Because let's say you're driving along and there's a stop at one corner, stop at the next corner. The kid's house is in the middle. If for some reason you're stopping there, that's not a designated stop. They get off the bus, they fall off the bus. That liability is going to transfer directly to you because the county is going to say, well, you stopped at a non-authorized stop. We're going to say the same thing. you really cannot do that. You're taking on a lot of liability doing that. So please, no courtesy stops. They come from, it definitely comes from a good place, but they can create real issues. Kent also brought up about the Wardell Weems Fund. If you don't know who Wardell Weems was, he was one of our dispatchers years ago, and he was taken by cancer way too young. And basically, we created a fund in his name, and it's funded by employees for the employees. So if someone's struggling, needs help with groceries, bills, their life just throws a curveball, this fund can help. So if you're able, please consider contributing or even increasing your contributions. It quietly does a lot of good. So the other thing is, Skip thanked the shop and their crew during the snowstorm. We haven't really met since then, so he basically thanked them for everything that they did, and echoed to the drivers and thanked them for everything that they did during that time. It was definitely a rough patch, and everyone stepped up big time. So you're all doing tremendous work, and stay safe, take care of each other, and let's keep things moving. And honestly, thank you for everything that you do. We really, really appreciate it. So now, if you watch this video through its entirety and you want to get your half-hour pay, you can either email, call, text Julie this phrase: "I've reviewed the safety recap, and I can confirm the yard speed limit is 5 miles an hour, even if my coffee says otherwise." All right, thanks everybody, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing and all the hard work you're doing. Let's get through the spring and head into summer.